What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Alrighty. You know the subject that we harping on these days with no shame. That is Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder and all the drama that goes around trying to make a fight that should be a no-brainer happen. And it seems as if it's getting one step closer. Now, one step closer and getting it there are two different things because still, Eddie Hearn, I believe, does not want this fight to happen. However, it appears, based on an article for Boxing Scene and also some other videos that I'd seen that pointed me to this, and I want to make sure that I give shout out to 78 Sports TV. I saw that he was having a stream about it, which pointed me to the article on Boxing Scene. I'd seen it yesterday when I think it was on Sky. I think Seconds Out or either Seconds Out or IFL TV had the actual interview. But I didn't pay attention to it that close because I had a lot of stuff going on. But there was a little bit of word in there that I find very funny, and that is that it seems, and who would have known, that the Deontay Wilder's team and Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel were able to show Eddie Hearn proof of the $50 million funds. Who would have thunk it? I mean, I thought that Eddie Hearn, I thought that Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel were just some what are they? What did he call them? Some guys out there in Alabama who knows where the money's coming from. Maybe he thought that they were some Crips or something on, out in LA, right? Operating a strip club. Maybe is that where they thought they were going to get $50 million from? But apparently he's shown them the money. And it seems as if the fight is past 50% being able to be made. According to Eddie Hearn, he reveals positive talks and a 70% chance of the deal. Now, 70% and done is a long way. However, at least we get one more thing out of the way. And I know it's going to make some of you guys salty, because you really, really wanted to say and hang on to this. Deontay Wilder only fights for $2 million. How can he find that type of money? There's not that much money for the fight. It's a fake offer. It's a fraud offer. It's a PR stunt. All of that, bye-bye. It's out the window because they showed him the money. But quite honestly, you should have known it was ridiculous from the start. But hey, thinking ridiculous things things being ridiculous have not kept a whole bunch of people from making those arguments. Arguments like, when did this thing start? Because I'm telling you, man, people think that I'm just this huge, from the comments I get on my comment section, that I'm just some huge Deontay Wilder fan. And truth be told, the guy that I thought was the best heavyweight was Tyson Fury. That's a guy who I want to see back in the ring, and the guy that I think is probably the best. If everybody's in their best form, the guy that I think is the best heavyweight. I think that's my opinion. He might get knocked out by Deontay Wilder. He might get knocked out by Anthony Joshua. I doubt very seriously Anthony Joshua's going to knock him out or hit him too many times. But hey, it could happen. That's just my opinion. But what really got me on the subject of Deontay Wilder, was all of the ridiculous accusations being thrown at Deontay Wilder from people who purport to be fans of Anthony Joshua. And I'm trying to find if there's ever been a situation where there's a fighter that has done as much as Deontay Wilder has done, but yet was given absolutely no credit. But consistently, the foolishness gets swept away, one thing after another. The fact that you could call a guy who is 40-0 with 39 knockouts, or at the time 39-0 with 39-0 with 38 knockouts, and an Olympic bronze medalist, a bum with a padded record. You can't pad 7 title WBA title defenses. Then again, Gennady Golovkin did a little bit of that, so I might be wrong. However, the guy, even Gennady Golovkin, who I would point critically at his record, even though everybody has to admit that Gennady Golovkin is a world-class fighter. The question with Gennady Golovkin is whether or not Gennady Golovkin deserves to get Bernard Hopkins' record or not, whether it deserves to be what he's done is as much as Carlos Monzon. But you can't even look at a guy like and I've never heard anybody say this. I mean, seriously say that they don't believe that Gennady Golovkin is a top middleweight. I would disagree. I would disagree with that proposition very, very strongly. But yet, with Deontay Wilder, the longest reigning heavyweight champion, and then a guy who was going to go to Russia to fight Alexander Povetkin until Alexander Povetkin popped dirty, then was going to fight Luis Ortiz before Luis Ortiz popped dirty, and then basically let Luis Ortiz off the hook and decided to fight Luis Ortiz anyway, even though he'd already tested positive, shows incredible grit by being in a situation against a world-class heavyweight, definitely one of the top 2-3 heavyweights in the world. My opinion, skill-wise, he's probably the best heavyweight in the world. But as I say, and I always want to caveat these things, I'm not the best judge of the technical acumen of a boxer. I do not claim to know who the best technical boxer is. But the fortunate thing about boxing is, especially with the heavyweight division, or the interesting thing about boxing in the heavyweight division is that technique only carries you so far when somebody's got hammers in their gloves. And if you can if Ernie Shavers might not have been the best heavyweight in the world, technically speaking, but the fact that the guy had anvils in his gloves and could put you to sleep at any point in time solved that problem. If he had landed 2 shots on Larry Holmes, and in my book, Larry Holmes is a top five heavyweight champion ever. And I do not think Ernie Shavers, technically, skill-wise, I've never heard him referred to in this manner, skill-wise, as being in the top, a top heavyweight. He put Larry Holmes to sleep, and it was a miracle and a major testimony to Larry Holmes that he woke up and got up and was able to win that fight by outboxing him. But that was just a hair away from the end of Larry Holmes' title reign with Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers, a guy who was not super technically sound, but he could knock people out. And that clearly is what Deontay Wilder is. He's that heavyweight with a massive, massive power. He's got very good speed, very good agility, and massive, massive power. But yet people want to brush it off as if that doesn't matter. And then fast forward to this, where you have Al Heyman, who made a $500 million fight last August, and you have people acting as if that team, the team of managers for Deontay Wilder, cannot figure out, would have to lie. Get it right. They're not just saying that it's a PR move. What Eddie Hearn accused him of was lying. Eddie Hearn accusing somebody of lying. If that isn't funny in and of itself, I don't know what is. But Eddie Hearn basically accuses Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman of lying about having the money. And people took it hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. Even though On its face, that sounds silly. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. On its face, it sounds silly. Al Heyman raised $500 million in venture capital funds to establish the PBC, the Premier Boxing Champions. $500 million. He just did a fight that grossed $500 million. And you don't think he can come up with a deposit on something on 10% of that number? 10% of the value of the last fight that he did. You don't think that he can get that in a bank account? And you people believed it. Al Heyman, you know, the guy that you've been acting as if he's going to go out. These people have been acting like he's going to be going out of business for the last 5 years. It's amazing. This guy has been going out of business for the last 5-6 years. He's bleeding money. He's this, he's that. Somehow, dude's still around, still making his boxing organization and the partnership with Showtime Boxing is doing better than any other boxing program in the world. The PBC, championship fight after championship fight after championship fight on Showtime. Showtime's happy. CBS is happy. They don't seem like that partnership is coming to an end anytime soon. But somehow, some people want to believe he can't come up with a deposit of 10% of the value of the last fight of the last major card that he did. Or not the last major card, because he's had several major cards since Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. So he can't go to a bank and say, look, I do these fights all the time. Yeah, there's $100 million here. There's $100 million here, yeah. And whatever he has to do to secure that fund, that he can't go to the same people that he worked with before. Because I'm sure he hasn't been writing personal checks this whole time. You know, he's been working with the bank. But anyway, Eddie Hearn says the promoter of IBF, IBO, WBA, WBO heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has revealed that his most recent discussions to make the showdown with WBC champion Deontay Wilder 40-0 with 39 KOs has been very positive. The two sides have been haggling over money in recent weeks. Initially, Hearn issued an offer of $12.5 million to Wilder, which the unbeaten champion and his team felt was far too low. Team Wilder's countered with a guaranteed offer of $50 million. Hearn and Joshua wanted proof of the funds. And just to pause on this second, you guys that think I can't read, this is what this sentence actually says. Hearn to Joshua wanted proof of funds. So I stuttered because what he meant to write was, and I really wish Boxing Scene would get a better editor or somebody that was more interested in this, but Hearn and Joshua wanted proof of funds, which they apparently received from Wilder co-manager Shelly Finkel. They wanted proof of funds, which they apparently received from Wilder co-manager Shelly Finkel. The two sides have been in communication over the past 2 days with very positive talks, and Hearn believes the fight is now much closer to coming off. Asked how likely the fight was to be agreed, Hearn exclusively told Sky Sports 70%. Their side have been very vocal in letting the media know about everything that's happening. You got that right. Hey, tell the truth, shame the devil. Or in this case, tell the truth, bust Eddie Hearn out for lying. Back to the article. We had some positive conversations over the past day or so. Negotiations are ongoing, and we're all hopeful to reach an agreement. Hearn issued some additional questions to Wilder, which the British promoter believes will be a true turning point in getting a deal wrapped up. I will go back with some very simple questions, which hopefully they can answer, to put us in a position to know whether it's worth talking. Oh my God, like the $50 million guaranteed right there, it wasn't worth talking. We sent them on Tuesday night. They can't not answer those questions. I believe they want to make the fight, said Hearn. If the deal is not reached for whatever reason, Joshua will likely make a mandatory defense against Alexander Povetkin of Russia. The WBA recently ordered Joshua to make a mandatory defense against Povetkin. Povetkin is the guy we have to fight next, Hearn explained. If we fight Wilder, Povetkin will wait. We would apply for a voluntary. Would we apply for a voluntary? Maybe. Would the WBA allow it? Maybe. But really, it is Wilder or Povetkin. We are talking to Miller, but mainly we're talking to Povetkin because he's the guy we'll have to fight if we don't get Wilder. So, yeah. Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I'm quite sure Eddie Hearn is like, yeah, they've been making a big deal of telling the media everything that's going on. Like they should. And I'm glad that they do. Now, I don't consider myself media. I consider myself to be an opinion. A boxing fan with an opinion, and fortunate enough to be a partner of this great platform, which allows me to express my opinion about certain people in the boxing world. Primarily promoters and people on the business side of it who want to act like fight fans. They want to take advantage of the fact that fight fans, by and large, are not involved in these type of dealings on a regular basis, have not been exposed to it. So you can easily tell somebody who's a boxing fan something ridiculous like Al Heyman needs to prove to me that he can that $50 million that Al Heyman offered is a publicity stunt. Or they can convince you of things like nobody, even though these people are not in the United States, that Deontay Wilder has no profile in the United States of America, that nobody knows who he is. Do you remember when Eddie Hearn did that little phony thing, walked outside and walked around and asked people if he knew who Deontay Wilder was, right? As if boxing is go ask a boxing fan. Ask him first, are you a fan of boxing? Yeah. Who are your favorite fighters? Oh, my favorite fighter is Gennady Golovkin, Vasyl Lomachenko, and I kind of like that kid Jeff Horn. Those are my favorite boxers. Yeah, I really liked how Jeff Horn fought against Manny Pacquiao. Oh, okay, well, great. So you're a boxing fan. Do you know who Deontay Wilder is? Yeah, Deontay Wilder is the heavyweight from Alabama. But no, he want to walk around playing con jobs, asking little old ladies walking out of Walmart, like, have you heard of Deontay Wilder? Does he play for the Seahawks? I mean, come on, man. But at least this one now is put to sleep. It didn't last long. It shouldn't have lasted to begin with. And for him to say that there's more things, we need to know these other questions. We know what the major question is, by the way. The major simple question that you want to know is whether the fight's going to be in the UK or whether the fight's going to be in the United States. That's my thoughts on what that big question is going to be. The very simple question. Where's the fight going to be? Oh, we told you when we put that $50 million offer that it's going to be in the United States. Because that's the only way that we're going to be able to pay for this. If you fight in the UK, the whole fight won't be worth $50 million, which means Anthony Joshua is not going to get anywhere near $50 million. Anthony Joshua will not get anywhere, he will not get anywhere near 38 million pounds because the whole fight will only be 40 million pounds. So Anthony Joshua will have to take probably less than half of what this offer is that he's getting to get on a plane and fight. That's going to be the question. What television networks that it's going to be on? You already know the answer to that. unless you're trying to convince them that they need to take this to HBO. Oh, we need this on HBO. We need this. No, you don't. Showtime pay-per-view, same pay-per-view that Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao were on. Sky Sports pay-per-view, the same pay-per-view that Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor and Anthony Joshua fight on. Those are the networks. But in U.S. time zone, because that's the only way you'll be able to pay for the fight. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. And with that, I'm out. Peace.